I'm the CTO and CEO of Favorit, so I can kind of talk broadly business or very techy if you want. So Favorit, just as a quick start for 10, is a blogging aggregator where mainstream users come on and read the stuff that we read every day. We understand RSS and things, so we kind of make it easier for them. So why do you want to believe me? Well, I've been coding since I was like a baby like that. I worked in the games industry for 10 years, and the games industry is well known for hiring, well, the best of the best, and specifically when writing games, it's all about performance. You know, all about performance. A lot of games, even today, you may all think about high-level languages, but the coders in the game industry still think about assembler. They're getting the maximum out of the box. So I've published 10 games, and 4 of them were purely in assembler. So know a little bit about the bare bones. Favorit, as it currently stands, only launched for a couple of months. We're at 200,000 unique users a month, and we're only using 0.5 of our hardware. So we've done, we hope, the right thing so far, and what I really want to talk about, and it covers some of what the other guys have, but mine is maybe a bit more broad strokes, is how we actually decided right from the beginning to make sure that we could scale. So my strategy, you can ignore it. So open source, obviously, everything we built is all open source, it's free, you go out and use it, then you throw it away. Because all the stuff I've ever used open source is fantastic to build from, but when you actually get down to it, a year down the line, we've probably thrown away 90% of it. But why? You end up rewriting it, but the development was actually quicker overall. That's the key thing. And when, in any programming, I always say it takes 3 iterations to get it right. I mean, really right, not just functionally works, but for it to be fast, efficient, well documented. So, start with a framework. I've listed 3 there that came up on Google first. I'm sure you have your chosen one. We actually use PHP ourselves, but key thing is, don't believe it scales. Just don't. You know, whatever you think, you know, they put on the front of their websites. None of the current frameworks out there scale by themselves. It just doesn't happen. So, language is also totally irrelevant. The whole arguments about Ruby and PHP and all the rest of it, complete and utter rubbish. That's a diagram of all the different languages and how they interlink between them. They're just programming languages. And let's face it, when it comes down to it, they're noughts and ones. It's, you know, it's a good programmer is a good programmer, and the language well used is a well-used language. Things like PHP have been horrendously abused, and I'm sure Ruby is. I'm not a Ruby developer, but I'm sure there's Ruby developers out there that abuse the hell out of it. So the important thing is people that actually know how to use it. The second is take an axe to it. You know, it's the framework for you to take and cut it up into the bits that are useful to you. Too many people go into things and they use them and then think, right, I've got to fit within the constraints of this thing. But you do have to make sure you pick something that can be hacked up. Because you will, in the story, you will want to change it. So, a few of the guys who are talking about speed and scalability, I've got my own kind of view on it. They are totally different, because the adage always is, just because something's very fast, doesn't mean it's stable. So, but I always say, well, if it's fast, then you need less hardware. Let's think about it. So you've got one server, could potentially support 100,000 unique users. What happens when you get to 1 million users, or get to 10 million users, you then need 100 servers. Well, you know, it's probably more than that. But if you actually speed up your application, you know, just by 2 times, you know, how much code optimization do you need to do to get 2 times speed? Not a lot. Once at 10 times faster, well, you know, obviously you get 100 times faster now. We did some caching recently on some of our asset serving, which went from it was over 100 times faster once we'd supported e-tags and a few other things, a bit technical, but what we did was, you know, made a massive, massive difference. And, you know, you get 100 times faster when you get one server, but that then allows you, with your 100 servers, to serve, you know, tens of millions of users. So, how have we actually done a lot of the things? And we are going to cover a few bits that everyone else has. So, firstly, fast code, and it isn't an easy route because you are relying on you having good coders. Because the bottom line is, good coders produce clean, efficient code, and you can't instill that in them with any kind of agile development process or anything. It just doesn't happen. You know, that's the bottom line. I've been working with developers for 15 years, and you don't, just like people, wives can't change husbands, management can't change programmers. So you look for good programmers, you put them in an environment that they're happy, and they will do the best work they can. But to do fast code, you need people that know what they're actually talking about. And so yeah, give them the time to do it and the environment to do it. Caching, well, I think, I didn't see all the slides, but Memcache is God. Just talk to WordPress guys, Danga guys. Memcache, used in the right way, can, with a certain kind of websites, you should cache everything. You do have to have a strategy of what you cache, because if you go too granular, you end up with a cache with millions of things in it that never get touched. So it's a fine balance between caching your whole web page and caching an individual row on your website, in your database. So there's a difference between it. But if you haven't gone to Danga, then why the hell haven't you? But they're the people behind 6 Apart and Movable Type. Database, MySQL. Don't care about what everyone else said. Just go buy that book. Enough said. I'll go back to it if you didn't see it. Just go buy it. It's in the second revision. The people behind Flickr, the people behind a few other things. MySQL Performance Blog guy. They are the gods of MySQL. Go read it. Offline processing. Not a lot is said about this, and it should be. There's a lot of things when building your website that don't have to be processed at the point of someone coming to your website. You know, if you can push it off to be processed later, then do it. Logging, put it into a file that just gets bigger, and then an offline processes takes that file and then processes it. Don't do it at the point of someone hitting your website, and then if 100,000 people come along in an hour, and your logging process that it's doing inserts into a database killed it. It's stupid, totally stupid. Do the raw, low-level thing that you can by just writing it out to a sequential file or any other process. It means you can schedule stuff, and the end result which doesn't impact your user experience. There's too many websites out there. TechCrunch is one of them. Do a timing test on TechCrunch's website and see how long it takes to actually bloody load. 13 seconds was the last time I checked to see how many things on their website and the processing they do behind it. Because they've butchered WordPress. Our website takes 3 seconds and it's got about 4 times the amount of content. Just because it's optimized, using our CSS is all optimized so that we do big lumps of data in one thing. We cut up the images so that it's all processed from one file. So, and we run, because we're an aggregator behind the scenes, we run thousands and thousands of separate jobs that are doing all these little things, including we pre-cache a lot of our pages. So we build them not on the point of the user coming to view the page, we cache it in the background and we keep rewriting it so that the caching mechanism never runs out of data. So it never goes, because you then get a thing, I don't think it was talked about, they talk about stampeding. Stampeding is big, something like Dig have done a lot of work behind this. Stampede is where the cache gets missed and you get lots and lots of users come along and they all hit the same web page, and all those cache misses suddenly all go to the database at the same time to try and build that new cache element, and the stampede effect just takes your website down. So to get rid of that, pre-cache, or there's a few other solutions that again Danga have a few things behind it. Cloud computing, it's shit. I did actually say on there there is some applications where it's useful. We have a few mechanisms where we will offshore some of our assets to an S3 if we want it, and the new content delivery network mechanism behind S3 for Amazon is very, very nice if you need fast delivery of edge performance. But this, we're talking about really, really high level stuff here. Replication, don't bloody do it until you've maxed out your first box. That's the bottom line is, you need to make sure your first machine, plentyoffish.com, I think they were at one, I don't know, it was a massive number, almost like 1 trillion hits in 1 month, running on 2 servers. 2 servers. It's like, they're not fake, they're serving nearly as much as Facebook does from just 2 servers because it's fast. And not everyone can do it. And it's a very, very ugly and simplistic site, but they're still doing it. But once you do get into replication, the key thing is you need tools, you need a sysadmin, you need it's complex to set up replication, that's the bottom line. That's why I say to people, put it last. Make sure your site can scale in 1 box as far as you can go, but be prepared to replicate. But when you do replicate, you need it so that all the automation that everyone else talked about is in place. But that automation takes dedicated people. We have a full-time sysadmin, and that could be just his full-time job, getting that kind of automation ready to deploy across lots of boxes.